Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and sadly there is no cringeworthy intro segment this week because it is One Piece's 20th year anniversary, and I will not soil it with such cringities. Just by inventing the word cringities just now, I have soiled it in cringities. Whatever. We have a note by Oda this week. A note that the man himself has laid out, expositing his thanks for everybody reading his, well, let's be honest here, this is going to be his magnum opus. Even if Oda does end up writing another manga after One Piece, which I don't know why he would want to do that, because you feel like after One Piece is over, he'd like to take, like, Oda can take like a 5-year extended vacation after One Piece is over. I'd be fine with that, you know? But if he does write anything else in his life, it's probably going to be this, the thing that he's going to be remembered for. Same thing with Toriyama. You know, Toriyama has done other stuff, but it's Dragon Ball that he's going to be really remembered for. So let's read this little note here. Let's see. How old were you 20 years ago? Were you even alive back then? Yeah, I was. Let's see here. 1997, 20 years ago. I was 4 years old. 4 years old. Here's a picture of me, actually. Yeah, check me out. Well, on top of having an obsession with flannel, hey, it was the late 90s, what the fuck do you want? I was also sitting there plotting my future conquests. Yeah, it didn't pan out as well as I thought it would. Luffy was 17 years old back then, and now, 20 years later, he's 19. Wait a second. Yeah, hey, you know what's funnier about that? The Straw Hat Pirates have actually been separated for longer than they've actually been a pirate crew. And the entirety of Part 1 of One Piece, from Chapter 1 all the way up to Chapter 597 before the time skip, you know, barring flashbacks, of course, that takes place in less than a year. Probably closer to, like, I don't know, 8 to 10 months. Yeah. Did you know that Luffy received his straw hat from a certain person? Oh, no shit! You didn't tell me! Damn, I always thought he picked that thing up at some random shop in the East Blue. I never knew that Luffy picked up that straw hat from somebody relevant or pertinent to the story. Come on, man! Let's see some serious dirt here. 20 years, Oda! Drop a bombshell on us! Who's Vegapunk? What the fuck does the Will of D mean? Come on, throw it at me, guy! One Piece has had a lot of flashback scenes. Yes, and they keep getting more depressing. What the fuck's up with that, man? But they're there for one reason. They started when I thought if I could get you all to feel like you really know these characters because you've been with them since they were children. Actually, that was very effectual. That works, thank you. Because you have done me the favor of watching over them as they've grown, I feel like a deep bond has developed between you and all of Luffy and his friends. Well, hey, I started watching this shit back in the 4Kids era, so I feel like someone should pay me for the crap I had to sit through, but I did manage to slog through it and got to an actual, you know, like the actual manga eventually, but yeah, those were some rough times there. Their story will certainly come to an end one day. Yeah, you got a couple more decades on that. The funny thing is, what you guys don't know, but I do because I've mastered time travel. In about 5,000 years, our descendants are going to discover our lost civilization, and they will find the great tablets of Oda, and that will become the new religion. So in about 5 millennia, we'll have people worshipping like Bartolomeo and Luffy and Roger, and like Robin's going to be the great goddess of lust and everything. Oh man, it's going to be nuts. I go on a trip there back and forth every few weeks. It's really nice just to chill out there. But I would like nothing more than for you to continue to adventure with them until that day comes. Thank you for supporting me for these past 20 years. Bear with me for just a little longer. You're gonna be at this for a long time, Oda. Don't be thinking you're in the home stretch now, buddy. You got some time left. But with that all being said, let's move on to the chapter. It's not a particularly long chapter, but it is cool to see it. We do get a cover page of, we see all the Straw Hats wearing basically Kamen Rider-esque outfits, essentially making them honorary members of the Germa 66, which is pretty cool because we get to see Sanji in an outfit that I would imagine would be his Germa 66 raid suit had he stayed around and he was actually, you know, the same as the other siblings. That's the outfit he would have, except it has a 5 on it instead of a 3, because of course, you know, he is the 5th member to join the Straw Hats. In 3, we have Nami, who puts them right in front of her boobs, because why wouldn't they? Also, that boob poll I'm doing is still active. You got until tomorrow, 11:59 p.m. Links below if you want to vote. We got over 13,000 hits. Let's see if we can bump it up to 14K. Alright, the saddest thing though in this entire spread is we see Sanji lighting Brook's afro on fire with his Diabo Jambe. Holy shit, Sanji! Do you know how valuable that afro afro is? That afro is the one sole thing that Brook will protect above all else. It's the one thing that Laboon will recognize him having. And you just lit it on fire! What the fuck, Sanji? We get into the chapter itself with a little bit of a flashback. We cut back to the events of the Fishman Island arc, the tail end of that. See what I did there? Because mermaids have tails. Okay, right, so after Luffy and the others have saved Fishman Island from the scourge that was Hody Jones, or is it Hordy Jones? Hordy? I don't know, I always say Hody. Anyway, after Luffy saved the island from the new Fishman pirates, Neptune was so grateful he basically just gave them all of the treasure in the vault, including the Tamete Bako. Then the Minister of the Right shows up, and he's like, hey, Your Majesty, maybe we can... I'm okay with them having our entire, national fortune. Whatever, they saved us, I guess they deserve it. But maybe we should ask for the Tamete Bako back. And King Neptune, because he's a very regal guy, very loyal, he takes out his staff and he's like, nonsense! I am the noble King Neptune! I shall never go back on my... Oh shit, you put a bomb in it? Fuck! Fuck! Get it back! Get it back! So yeah, they throw a bomb in there because remember what was actually inside the Tamete Bako was the energy steroids, or rather, it was maybe some sort of chemical compound or some substance that Zio was able to create to turn into the energy steroids. But after that was the case, they just threw a bomb in there because, people are trying to rob the thing all the time. They're all trying to steal the Tamete Bako. Figure the next dumb shit to try to steal the thing's just going to get their ass blown up, right? So they're like, we need to get that back. So they go and they talk to Luffy about it, like, hey, can we have that thing back? And they find out that they actually handed it over to the Big Mom Pirates. And of course, that brings us to the present storyline, where we have a big kazoom as the entire whole Cake Chateau is now falling apart because the bomb exploded at the base. Everybody inside of the whole Cake Chateau is freaking out because there's people inside of it as well, on top of being, there's the plateau where the wedding was being held, but the whole thing is like Big Mom's castle. So, second story, everything's falling down. We see Baron Tamago there. I'm sorry, not Baron Tamago. He is the very, very noble Count Chicken. Yeah, anyway, he's freaking out. And then, of course, we see everybody below in remember the Sweet City is the national capital is right below the castle, so everyone's freaking out, running for the hills, not to be crushed by the giant tower. I was gonna make a 9/11 joke, but no, I can't do it. It's still too soon. It was a national tragedy, guys. I can't do it. It's not in me. But anyway, yeah, we see the whole thing come crashing down. Everything on top of the tower where the wedding was being held, that begins to slide off. We have Brûlé that was distracted momentarily. Remember Brûlé was in the sky trying to capture Caesar, but she witnesses like this national disaster, and she's just like, oh no, all my brothers and siblings, mama, no! And so Caesar takes that opportunity to like beeline the hell out of there. We see Sanji rounding up Luffy. We see Yonji grabbing Judgy. And Ichiji seems to regain consciousness. Remember, Ichiji, he looked pretty banged up. Dogtooth looked like he had him dead to rights, but Ichiji is pretty tough, so he's just like, all right, let's get out of here. So they're all clamoring for it. Remember, while inside of Beijei's castle, it's like gyroscopically set. So even though everything's going nonsense outside, they're actually still remaining the way it is. They're not actually feeling anything. Jinbei's just looking out the window, and isn't it funny that Jinbei just throughout this entire event, all the things that have gone wrong in the past hour, and Jinbei's expressions really haven't changed. He's just like, oh my god, I knew this shit was gonna happen. Oh, now look at that. The whole cake thing's falling over. Oh, people are falling to their deaths. It's just what happens with the life that I chose. I could be down there in Fishman Island working. I could be working at a fucking bakery or something. Instead, I'm watching this nonsense right now, including Big Mom, who falls right overboard. And I made a joke about that a few chapters ago, about Big Mom falling off Whole Cake Plateau, and the impact from her ass slamming into the side of the island was just gonna like sink the entire island, cause a giant tsunami, and just wipe out all life in the New World. So I'm sitting there like, oh, is that actually what's gonna go down? Because that would be cool. Big Mom's fallen. We have Beijei up there who's like freaking having a blast, just laughing his ass off, coughing up blood in the process. He's like, ha ha ha, Atuji, you damn witch, yeah, die, how dare you. You know what's funny? It's everyone's watching this event, and they're like, that's the end of the Big Mom Pirates right there. And I'm just sitting, really? I mean, yeah, it is a pretty damn impressive thing, the entire, island falling over, people falling off. It's a few hundred feet to the ground, maybe even 1,000 feet or so. I don't really know how far it was off the island, but This is a Yonko we're talking about. This is a woman that was impervious to, like, pretty much every other form of incendiary device you could toss at her. I don't think falling from a great height's gonna hurt her very much. Considering what we've seen with Kaido, you know, I don't think this is gonna hurt her. Even if she did just slam right into the ground, fell right on her ass, I think she would be fine. Even with the other top tier members of the Big Mom Pirates, like Dogtooth, Smoothie, I don't see this fall actually managing to kill them, even if they do hit the ground. I mean, armament hockey up, I think you'll maybe have a broken bone or something. I think you'll be fine, though. But at last, you know, let Beijay have this. Just let him have his moment, you know. Oh, and, right, we cut over to Stussy and Morgana. Stussy's managing to avoid the blast by using her Geppo, her moonwalk. She's avoiding the crash down. It's funny because Morganis is behind her, you know, taking pictures of all this. Like, big news, big news! Oh, man, look at these great shots we're getting! But he can't fly. Now, I don't know if that's a joke, like he's a big bird but he can't fly, or if it's like he's too busy taking pictures, he can't fly and take pictures at the same time. I like to think that the fact that he's a big bird and he can't fly, I like to think that's funnier, so I'm just gonna go with that. But anyway, Stussy's like, well, you do have a point. If this does result in the end of the Big Mom Pirates, I guess that would be a big news. You know? Or if not, if they all survive, you could still pass it off as that, and it would be big fake news. There! I made a fake news joke! I'm sorry! I thought it was too easy. Yeah, CNN and Morganas. Yeah, that's all. I'm the first person to come up with that comparison. All right, yeah, whatever. Fake news. Okay, well, we have a savior here that's going to manage to stop everything. It's the last person you would expect, but he is the MVP of this chapter. I am, of course, talking to Chef Extraordinaire Streusen! Verendern, German for change, gourmet, boom! And with a glance, the entire whole Cake Chateau actually becomes a cake. I would question what the fuck it was made out of before, but okay, whatever. The thing turns into sponge cake and whipped cream, which, by the way, that kind of throws a little twist there on his power, because back when his power was being revealed, people thought it was just because of, he can only create raw ingredients. Like, I think I made the comparison, like, Streusen could create, you know, like pizza or something, and somebody came up to me and said, well, no, Tekking, he can only create raw ingredients. Bullshit. I don't sponge cake, that's a cake. That's not a raw ingredient, okay? So he could just make any food, anything, I guess, with his power, right? Whipped cream, on the other hand, I don't know. I would assume you actually have to make that. You know, I don't think there's just a natural whipped cream tree in the wild or a whipped cream mountain, although that would be delicious. Personally, I'm looking for my iced tea waterfall. Someone could send me the Latin launch coordinates for that, and my lifelong wish will be fulfilled. But yeah, the entire cake gets turned into an actual fucking cake, leaving everybody covered in a sticky white substance. It looks like semen. Ah, jeez, it's like Zeus just beat off right over the island, just like, and just, ah. Let me tell you something about me, okay? You want to know something personal about Tekking? Don't worry, it's not sexual. I do not like the sensation of having anything sticky or gooey or slimy on my hands. Oh, okay, I guess it could be taken in a sexual context. What I'm talking about is food, though. Like hot wings, you know? Like, there's a lot of good places around here that serve great hot wings that are really famous for it. But whenever I go out and eat, you know, with people there, you know, they get the hot wings, they're covered in sauce, and they just grab them and just eat them out of their hand, and their whole hands are covered in sauce. I'm just like, I can't do it, man. I just hate that sensation, you know? So I have to be the weird fuck to either eat chicken wings or hot wings with a fork, or I just don't eat them at all, which usually what is resulting. But I hate that sensation. I just hate it. This would be like worst nightmare for me, you know? Like, this would be like, imagine working in Sweet City. Imagine working as, like, I don't know, a banker or something. You're just like, okay, sir, here's your withdrawal. Here's your 5 lollipops. And, oh, what's that commotion outside? What's going on? Oh, my God. Ah! Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh my god, it's everywhere. It's in every crevice of my body. All of the members of the Big Mom Pirates make it through. We see Daifuku, we see Oven, we see the chick with the giant hat whose name escapes me, and we see Big Mom. Actually, it seems that Zeus cushioned her fall a little bit there, but the whipped cream probably helped. Big Mom is lying on the back of Zeus, you know, throwing some freaking frosting in her mouth, because even in a life or death situation, she's still gotta stuff her mouth full of sweets. So she's tossing the frosting in there, and she says, man, these sweets are the food that's created through Streusen's power. It fills the stomach. I mean, it's still filling. It's still real food. It's just the taste is shit, which I guess makes sense. You turn a log into a slice of meat, it's probably not going to be, you know, actually tasting like meat. But hey, as long as it gets the nutritional factor through. Of course, that's not exactly what Big Mom cares about when she's eating her food. It's not so much nutrition, it's more about just taste. So Montedor gets up and states that this isn't over yet, those damn Straw Hats, we're gonna scour every last inch of Totland until we get them, we're bastards. So we cut over to a little bit away from the crash site where we see Beijay arriving, we see the Straw Hats getting out of his body, he's like, alright, everybody get out, and he ejects them out of his castle, and they're like, okay, look, we see a little map here, we see that the Fire Tank Pirates base is on the west side of the island, and the Thousand Sunny is parked on the east side of the island by the Witching Forest, and they're like, all right, you go this way, we go this way, best of luck in war, gentlemen, and everything like that. Meanwhile, Caesar's like, you know, am I done yet? Am I done with this bullshit yet? Beijay tosses him his heart, and no one thanks Caesar, of course. Nami's gotta lay it in. Nami's gotta be like, shut up, you trash! Remember what you did to the kids on Punk Hazard? Okay, look. Yeah, Caesar's fucked up, I get it, but come on. You can throw a thank you his way. I mean, come on, if it wasn't for him, there'd be no way for you to escape that mess. There would be none. You would be dead. Luffy was about to get killed. Sanji was about to be killed. I know he's done some fucked up shit in the past, but it's like, you can throw him a thank you in this one situation. Okay, Nami? Just one. You don't even have to mean it. You can just, like, grit your teeth and, like, thanks, Caesar. That was really nice what you did. Okay, well, anyway, Beijay just tosses him his heart. He grabs it, pops it into his chest, and he's like, I'm free! And then Caesar heads off to a new destination. And let me tell you something where we're getting. After we're done with this Grand Fleet cover serial, I want to see a Caesar Clown cover story. The marvelous misadventures of Caesar Clown. Think about it. Caesar traveling the world, saving people with his science, or possibly ending a country with it. I don't know. The chances for hilarity are abundant. Do it, Oda. Caesar Clown cover story. I want to see this gaseous bastard in some weird, wacky situations. Or maybe show him wandering into, like, I don't know, Kaido's or Shanks' territory by accident and getting killed. I don't know. Be cool, though, right? Anyway, Vito, a member of the Fire Tank Pirates, he's the one that notices the entire, you know, thing was turned into an actual cake, and so the Big Mom Pirates are most likely alive, and they're like, we need to get out of there. And Beijay's like, oh, that must have been Streusen's power. You know, that guy was a mystery till the very end. I didn't know what his powers could do. So they're like, all right, Godspeed, gentlemen. And he slams a fucking sign down that's like, it's straight out of fucking Looney Tunes. It's like, hey, the Straw Hats went that way, whoop, 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 and then he just, like, castle tanks the hell out of there. A few of the other Fire Tank Pirates, you know, object to this. Vito, you know, he wanted to hang out with the Germans more. You had Chiffon there, who's like, I just got to get to know Nami. And Beijay is just, of course, like, hey, don't be getting all chummy with them. You know, they're our enemies. You know, the real escape starts now. Honestly, I think they're going to have a harder time getting out of there because the Fire Tank Pirates base is like, it's been on the island for a while. I feel like the Big Mom Pirates kind of have a good idea where that is. The Thousand Sunny's been only there for like a day or two, so it's not like they don't know exactly where the location is. I guess Brûlé would. But either way, they should get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. So they're like, alright, we should probably go get the sharks submerged first. And I completely... You know, it's a good thing they're keeping track of this shit because I don't remember. If this was me, I'd be like, hurry up, let's get on the Sunny and then go away. And then, like, you know, 2 hours later, I'd be like, oh shit, we forgot the sharks submerge. Oh well, I guess we get Frankie to build a new one, but a good thing they're keeping track of this shit anyway. So we cut back over to the last scene of the chapter where we see Dogtooth, and he's taking command of the Big Mom Pirates. He's like, alright, I want search teams, I want attack dogs, I want 2 squads, you know, teaming up, you know, Smoothie, you're in charge of this, Daifuku, I'm in charge of this, we're gonna get these bastards, you know? So everyone's getting ready to do it. Smoothie looks over at Big Mom and reassures her, like, don't worry, Mama, we're gonna get him, everything will be fine. And then we cut over to Big Mom, who's repeating in her mind, she's like, wedding cake. I can't help but notice I didn't get my wedding cake today. You know, that wedding that I was really excited for, the cake that I was going to shove down my gullet. I was dreaming about it last night. It was the last thing I thought about before I went to bed and the first thing I thought of when I woke up. And that was a few hours ago, and I can't help but notice it's not in my fucking stomach. I want wedding cake! And then that's the end of the chapter, which, oh, we all know how that's gonna go. Oh, there's gonna be some Big Mom pirates that are gonna be missing next time we see them, isn't there? Oh, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, she's gonna go on her hunger pang, and the saddest thing here is that they have no way to satiate that shit. Streusen was working for hours and days, probably weeks on that damn cake, and they don't have it anymore. It's gone. It's destroyed. It's in the rubble. It's mixed in with all their other whipped cream and shit. There's no way they're salvaging that. So Big Mom's going to go on a rampage, completely destroy any attempts that the Big Mom pirates are going to have in getting their hands on the Straw Hats or the Fire Tank pirates. They're definitely going to make their great escape. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter, and all I have to say, man, is brief, but it really just sets everything up for the escape. I think next chapter we'll be on the Sunny and we'll be getting the hell out of Totland. Remember, it's still going to take about a day to get out of her territory, just because Big Mom's territory is so fucking big. But yeah, that's the chapter there, and I think we're going to be moving on maybe to Reverie pretty soon. We'll get that little mini arc in between Wano before we actually get there. One more thing I wanted to bring up before we end, and it was in regards to the cover page of Shonen Jump, of course, because it's the 20th anniversary. In fact, it was the 20th year, exactly, when this chapter was released, since chapter 1 was released. So we get to see a comparison between Luffy, chapter 1 Luffy, and then, chapter 872 Luffy. And what I have to say about that is it's pretty cool that Luffy's design hasn't changed all that much. Mangakas always evolve their style a little bit. Like, look at Ichigo from Bleach. The way Kubo drew Ichigo from chapter 1 until the end of the story. It's very noticeably evolved since then. Luffy from chapter 1 and Luffy from chapter 872, it's, there is a little bit of a difference. He's been slimmed down a little bit there. His face is not as round and everything like that. But other than that, his body's pretty much the same. And keep in mind, it was still the 2-year time skip where he was kind of redrawn a little bit. But even like before the time skip, like right around at the end of Marineford, he did evolve a little bit. But it makes me think, this was Luffy. This has always been Luffy. His art style has always been relatively the same, and I think he's a great main character. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this review. Hope to catch you back here next time. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later, everybody.